pressure. Term providers help thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. Buy $1 million of affordable term life for you. All you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-444-9336. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-444-9336. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-444-9336. 800-444-9336.
Hey everybody, it's Big Joe Henry here. If you're tired of car shopping and coming up short, just head over to my good friends at Maloof Cadillac. They have new cars in stock and available for immediate delivery. That's right, XT4s, XT5s, XT6s, and even Escalades are all priced for immediate delivery. Visit them today and test drive a new 2023 Cadillac XT5. Then drive it home for only $469 a month. Plus, the only American-made luxury sedans on the market, the Cadillac CT4 and CT5 are available for you to drive home today. Not to mention, you get peace of mind knowing you're shopping from a family-owned and operated dealer with a reputation for excellent customer service in New Jersey for over 50 years. So get off the waiting list and get behind the wheel of a new 2023 Cadillac XT5 for only $469 today. Only at Maloof Cadillac on Route 1 in North Brunswick.
4852 to assign 36 months lease plus tax, 0 security deposit with proof credit. See Maloof for complete details. Offer expires 5/1/23.
New Jersey 101.5. Have you ever had the unfortunate experience of having your car stolen? Tell us about it. 1-800-283-101.5. 549 New Jersey Fast Traffic.
So very busy on 36 out of West Long Range back up towards Eatontown. There's also slowdowns to watch for on Route 70, especially through Brokeback and Lakewood and the Parkway. That short stretch is still slow just south of 98 coming down to 91 and then to make it 89 down towards 82. Lots of slowdowns as well. There was a crash on 34 North in Matawan and Cambridge Drive. That's been cleared. This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Stores provide innovative products and services for small business, remote workers and learners, even teachers and parents. Explore more at your local Staples store. Traffic along 80 kind of slow west coming into the Saddlebrook area. 287 north remains crowded. Exit 7 up towards 12. And south outside coming back in towards the Edison area and over to 440. 18 through East Brunswick still jammed up. Latest numbers across the Hudson leaving New Jersey. You got a 15-minute delay at the Lincoln Tunnel. Anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes at the Holland. The worst of it from 1 to 9. Tom Rivers, New Jersey, traffic north.
Jill Myra, New Jersey, traffic south. So the delays are still substantial at 195 right now. That is the eastbound side coming out of Whitehorse in through to the area of Route 130 with an accident. Left lane blocked off. Westbound is slow from Route 130 in towards Yardville with another accident and the left lane blocked. New Jersey Turnpike northbound is crammed. Approaching exit 4 from an accident and some road work that is still set up. 42 is going to be very tough for you in both directions, basically, from the area of 41 up towards 676. New Jersey Best traffic every 15 minutes. Next report, 603. From the Jack One Physical Therapy Traffic Desk, I'm Jill Myra, New Jersey 101.5.
New Jersey 101.5. Instant weather. A nice evening for this time of the year. Partly cloudy for tonight. We're down into the 50s. Clouds, perhaps some drizzle to start tomorrow, then some sunshine, breezy in the afternoon, highs in the upper 60s at the shore, mid-70s inland. Rain tomorrow night, even a rumble of thunder down in the upper 40s and low 50s, and clouds and some breezy for Sunday. Passage shower, highs in the middle and upper 60s. From the Edison Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm meteorologist John Fear.
Clinton 65, Garfield 68, Monroe 66. Fast traffic east of weather every 15 minutes on New Jersey 101.5. Weather brought to you by Flemington Department Store, proud to feature many products made in America like Flex Steel, Kincaid, Southern Motion, and more. Right now, they're paying your sales tax on all made in America furniture and also on Sealy Posturepedic mattresses. Flemington Department Store, it's worth the trip.
5:52, Dubinsky and Doyle coming up after the 6 o'clock news. We'll have our end of the week game, lottery tickets at stake. And right now we're talking about stolen cars at 1-800-283-101.5.
Yeah, they have a story that happened to share with us. But I just stumbled across some information I never thought of. Okay? I was trying to find some of the stats on how if the police recover a car before the insurance has been applied, and then of course now it's still your car, right? You got fair that, you know, if it's going to take you a couple days to go get it, that you're charged the storage.
The aggrieved party has to pay.
Exactly. You're the victim here, and yet you've got to pay to get your stolen property back. But instead of finding that out, you know what I found? Listen to this. Does a car lose value after being stolen? And this is like, it's stolen, but then they find it in a week and you have to take it back?
Yes.
Right? Listen to this. If your car is stolen and recovered, it might lose value. How much value was lost all depends on the specific situation. If the car has been damaged and considered a total loss by your insurer, they will take repossession of the car. It's then considered a salvage title car. A car is really stolen with a salvage or a total loss.
This was the super goat. They had to have this goat. They had to. Go for Grubhub. You hungry? So. Matt sent me a note to check out the story from the Department of Justice. And I remember the story when it happened because when this guy was arrested and they searched his house, they found something of great value inside a Cheetos popcorn tin. And the popcorn tin made all the news stories. So, Silk Road dark web fraud defendant sentenced following seizure and forfeiture of over $3.4 billion in cryptocurrency. According to the United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York, the man was sentenced to 1 year and 1 day in prison for committing wire fraud back in 2012, when he unlawfully obtained approximately 50,000 Bitcoin from the Silk Road dark web internet marketplace. Remember that? Remember when they busted the guy, they said he was running it, that was a big deal also. But 50,000 Bitcoin, that actually would add up to quite a bit of money. In fact, as part of the investigation, the government got final orders of forfeiture for, among other items, the 51,680 Bitcoin, valued at about $3.4 billion at the time of the seizure, but now about $1.5 billion, because Bitcoin tends to fluctuate. U.S. Attorney said back in 2012 the man committed wire fraud by stealing 50,000 Bitcoin from Silk Road. And for the next 10 years, he managed to conceal what he had done and how he had gotten his fortune. He used decentralized Bitcoin mixer, which I'm pretty sure we all use now, an overseas cryptocurrency exchange, and an array of technological tools to frustrate tracing efforts. But thanks to the relentless and skillful efforts of law enforcement following the money, the federal government uncovered a scheme and obtained final orders of forfeiture for over 51,000 Bitcoin. Cyber criminals should heed this message. We will follow the money, or the Bitcoin, and hold you accountable, no matter how sophisticated your scheme and no matter how long it takes. So it's kind of complicated. But of course, we all know that Bitcoin is untraceable, right? Isn't that one of its advantages? One of its selling points? Well, it turns out maybe not. Silk Road, of course, was the online darknet black market, which is in operation until 2013. It was used by numerous people, including drug dealers and other unlawful vendors, to distribute all kinds of stuff, illicit goods and services, to buyers and to launder funds passing through it. In 2015, following a groundbreaking prosecution by this office, when you get to write your own press releases, you can say things like that. The founder of Silk Road was convicted by unanimous jury and sentenced to life in prison. Life in prison. So in 2012, this man executed a scheme to defraud Silk Road of its money and property by several things. Creating a string of approximately 9 Silk Road accounts in a manner designed to conceal his identity. Then he triggered over 140 transactions in rapid succession in order to trick Silk Road's withdrawal processing system into releasing approximately 50,000 Bitcoin from its Bitcoin-based payment system into this man's account, and then transferring that Bitcoin into a variety of separate addresses also under this man's control, all in a manner designed to prevent detection. And He was hoping to conceal his identity and his ownership and obfuscate the Bitcoin's source. While executing that fraud, he did not list any item or service for sale, nor did he buy any items or services. He simply registered the accounts by providing the bare minimum information required by Silk Road to create the account. The fraud accounts were merely a conduit for him to defraud Silk Road of Bitcoin. So just so you're keeping this straight, there was this enterprise called Silk Road. The feds shut it down and then put its operator, who they believe the operator was, in prison for life. Now, they're saying that we've convicted somebody who ripped off that operation. And we've got the money they ripped off from it. So, the man funded the fraud accounts with an initial deposit of between 200 and 2,000 Bitcoin. After the initial deposit, he then quickly executed a series of withdrawals. Through his scheme to defraud, he was able to withdraw many times more Bitcoin out of Silk Road than he had deposited in the first instance. So apparently he discovered a vulnerability in the system, and that was that it was easy to get withdrawals of Bitcoin if you claimed it was some sort of fraud, and apparently you could send in a whole bunch of fraud requests and it would pay you back quickly. So as an example, in September of 2012, he deposited 500 Bitcoin into a Silk Road wallet, and then less than 5 seconds after making the initial deposit, he executed 5 withdrawals within the same second, resulting in a net gain of 2,000 Bitcoin. As another example, a different fraud account paid by a single deposit over 50 Bitcoin withdrawals before the account ceased its activity. He moved this Bitcoin out of Silk Road and in a matter of days consolidated them into 2 high volume amounts. And so as you can imagine, the guy who's running Bitcoin cannot call the feds and go, hey, somebody's ripping me off. Can you get over here and help me? And of course, that's one of the things that make you a target if you're running a criminal enterprise, is that if somebody comes and steals from you, who are you going to call? So nearly 5 years after that fraud, in August of 2017, in a hard fork coin split, don't you just hate when that happens? Bitcoin split into 2 cryptocurrencies, traditional Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. When the split occurred, any Bitcoin address that had a Bitcoin balance, as this man's did, now had the exact same balance on both the Bitcoin blockchain and on the Bitcoin Cash blockchain. As of August 2017, he thus possessed 50,000 BCH in addition to 50,000 Bitcoin that he unlawfully obtained from Silk Road. He thereafter exchanged through an overseas cryptocurrency exchange all of the BCH crime proceeds for additional Bitcoin, amounting to approximately 3,500 Bitcoin of additional crime proceeds, and then collectively he wound up with 53,000 Bitcoin. And of course, it gets complicated. There's a lot of math here, big numbers. But beginning in or around March of 2022, the man began voluntarily surrendering to the government additional Bitcoin that he had access to and had not dissipated. In total, he voluntarily surrendered another 1,000 additional Bitcoin. So using a conservative estimate of the lowest spot price of Bitcoin on the seizure dates, the total value of all Bitcoin seized was approximately $3.4 billion. So what happened was on November 9th of 2021, there was a judicially authorized premises search warrant, and law enforcement agents recovered approximately 50,000 Bitcoin prime proceeds from the man's Gainesville, Georgia house. Law enforcement located these prime proceeds in an underground floor safe and in a single board computer that was submerged under blankets in a popcorn tin stored in a bathroom closet. In addition, law enforcement recovered $661,000 in cash. So they forfeited all that money, and the man was charged, and he pled guilty to 1 count of wire fraud. So it turns out now that he's going to get 1 year and a day in jail as a result of all of this. But of course, like I said, the highlight of the story was that Cheetos popcorn tin in which they found a lot of this stuff. Prosecution of the case overseen by the Office's Money Laundering and Transnational Criminal Enterprise Unit. And I'm curious about the amount of Bitcoin and what the government's going to do with it. Because it says that when they seized it, it was worth $3.4 billion US. And they say today it's got a value of 1.5 cents. So it's lost half its value. The question is, has the U.S. government cashed it? Or are they going to hang on to it? What are they going to do with it? Because, of course, it could fluctuate all over again. But we're not. But you probably recall the story, if you followed any of this, about the guy who they accused of running the Silk Road Enterprise. And it was a website where you can go and buy all kinds of stuff, or sell all kinds of stuff. And the feds did a whole bunch of work tracking down who they thought it was, and they busted the guy, I believe, at a public library in California, where he was allegedly using the public Wi-Fi to log on and do his business. And I don't mean the business that your dog does in the front lawn. I'm saying business that you do in a Silk Road operation. But that was a while back, and so they shut that down. And that's one of those places that shut down. If you go there now, I think it probably has a U.S. government thing that says this website's been seized. It's been a while since I looked at that one. But when they shut that down, I thought, well, that's the end of that. Obviously, somebody combined started another one. I'm sure there's been more started since then. And my point was that I thought that was the end of here on Silk Road. And it turns out, while Silk Road is operating, some guy did manage to steal from Silk Road 51,000 Bitcoin because he found a vulnerability in it where you could claim you've been defrauded and file these claims for refunds and get back much more than you ever had in the system. So obviously there's a problem there. Ironically, the guys running Silk Road needed better programs to protect them against so there you go. But it's a crazy story. Like I said, this was the one that involved the Cheetos popcorn tin. And at one point in time, this guy was sitting on Bitcoin worth about $3.4 billion. And the big question I have at that point is, why are you still in the U.S.? With that kind of money, you can buy yourself an island someplace far away and just disappear. But instead he's hanging out in Georgia. And so they bust in there with a search warrant, and they open up the Cheetos popcorn tin. They find the big $1,000. Crazy story from Department of Justice. Matt, thanks for sending it. Questions or comments, put them below this post.
Thank you for calling.
I wanted to actually just drive this thing every day. And it's a cool car. I want to take car shows. So I decided to do everything that needed doing on this car, which is like little knickknacks, like this is going on in each other. It's anywhere. Now this car was not simple. It had a paint job, so sort of like a next car. I wanted to make it to it was a car that was very, very special to me because it represented something that, like, I built something that I couldn't afford to buy. That's sort of like so I had this car that was like, 10 out of 10 in my head. Then I modified the engine, which was up with some power from the tune. We got some new turbos, downpipes, exhaust. This thing spit flames. It was absolutely insane. It was faster than sound. And I wanted to share it with my friends. So after I did these little knick-knack mixes and just waiting to get this thing to the inspection points, I wanted to share it. So it just so happens that I had a week where basically everybody from the UK, all the teachers, like Shmi and Matt Armstrong and Sam Park and Mark Mirage, they all came to my shop. I don't know for what reason, just to hang out with us. And I said, hey, we need to check out my plan. So I took Shmi out and we did some launchings over and some toys. He really liked it. I liked the fact that he had one and he could compare it. And the jury's out on that. I don't know how he felt about it, but hey, I like my car. Then I took out Matt Armstrong. There's this other YouTuber that is completely going and he loved it. And he said it was actually faster than his twin turbo aero. And then I took out my friend Sam Hart, who has been on Ricky. And Sam is a very, very good dude. I mean, he really showed up his back, and I wanted to give him a nice experience with this McLaren. And we set out, and I wanted to warm up the oil. The car was a little bit cold. The coolant was up to temperature, but the oil wasn't exactly up to the halfway point. It wasn't like completely. So I take it on this road.